Good morning, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Those of you that work may get through it smoothly. All right. Amazon. Flash briefing.
Jamie, getting your flash briefing. In NPR News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. President Biden is marking the Labor Day holiday with a stop in Philadelphia. Speaking at the city's annual Labor Day parade, Biden underscored the importance of unions in the United States.
I'm proud to be the most pro-union president, according to the experts in American history. And by the way, I make no bones about that.
History.
Folks, in this Labor Day, let me tell you what we're celebrating. We're celebrating jobs, good-paying jobs. Jobs you can raise a family on, union jobs.
Let entitlement go to your
Biden
head.
also touted his administration's record on job growth. According to the Labor Department, U.S. employers added 187,000 new jobs in August. The nation's unemployment rate rose to its highest level
is a big
since
problem in
February
this country.
of last year.
And you're living
Russia
proof.
says it repelled an amphibious landing mission by Ukraine on the occupied Crimean Peninsula. NPR's Charles Maines reports from Moscow.
Russia's defense ministry says its naval forces destroyed 4 American-made Willard Marine Sea Force inflatable boats as they were carrying Ukrainian troops in an apparent attempt to land on the west coast of the annexed peninsula. The ministry also said its air defenses shot down Ukrainian drones on approach to Crimea. That following claims Russian forces prevented Ukrainian naval drones from attacking a key bridge linking Crimea to the Russian mainland over the weekend. There was no immediate comment from Ukraine, yet Kiev has made clear liberation of the peninsula, which was illegally seized by Russia in 2014, remains a major goal amid its current counteroffensive in southern Ukraine.
Almost the northernmost border.
Moscow.
The leader of
Way
the
far from
military
freaking
coup
Ukraine.
in Gabon last week is being sworn in as the interim president of the Central African country. The
So,
ceremony
was it Ukraine
is
or was it
being held at the
NATO?
Capital, while the
What the heck's
deposed
going on,
president
people?
Ali Bongo
We're
remains
trying to start
detained.
war.
NPR's Emmanuel
peace,
Akinwatu
kind-heartedness.
reports while many are celebrating the demise of the unpopular leader, many are also expressing concern about the future.
General Brice Oligui Nguema was the head of the Presidential Guard, but will now lead Gabon as interim president. It's a week since the military took power of this oil-rich, biodiverse country, which was ruled by President Bongo and his father since 1967. Many have celebrated Bongo's removal from office, frustrated with widespread corruption of the country's resources. 40% of young people are unemployed, and more than 30% of the country live in poverty. Yet the new military leader is a relative of the deposed president and has also caused concern. Opposition groups have called on the new regime to reveal when they will hand back power to a civilian government, but no details have been released. Emmanuel Akinwatu, NPR News, Lagos.
This is NPR News in Washington. Vice President Kamala Harris will travel to Indonesia this week. She's scheduled to take part in 2 summits with a group of Asian countries and hold talks with leaders from the Indo-Pacific. President Biden, meanwhile, will travel to India later this week to take part in the G20 summit. He'll also make a stop in Vietnam. A federal trial is set to get underway tomorrow that will examine whether Georgia's congressional and state legislative districts violate the Voting Rights Act. Sam Greenglass from member station WABE reports the outcome could affect who controls Congress.
This summer, the U.S. Supreme Court affirmed that Alabama had to redraw its congressional maps. And now that decision is rippling through other states like Georgia, where a lawsuit argues that the maps drawn after the last census illegally dilute the power of black voters. Here's the Brennan Center's Michael Lee.
There is an epic fight for control of the U.S. House right now. And what happens in states like Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, North Carolina is going to be very impactful.
Georgia's population boom has been driven in large part by black residents who tend to vote Democratic. But Republican lawmakers drew maps that resulted in their party gaining a congressional seat. For NPR News, I'm Sam Greenglass in Atlanta.
The Senate returns from its month-long August recess tomorrow. Lawmakers in both chambers are up against a deadline to pass legislation that would avert a partial government shutdown later this month.
Boo!
This
Shut
is
it down.
NPR News.
Hey, it's Aisha Harris from
Amazon.
Pop Culture Happy Hour.
Skip. Bye.
NASA News. After splashing down safely in a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida early Monday morning, NASA's SpaceX Crew 6 completed the agency's sixth commercial crew rotation mission to the International Space Station. The International Crew 4 spent 186 days in orbit. NASA will provide coverage of the agency's SpaceX Crew 6 mission return to Earth from the International Space Station, beginning with hatch closure coverage live at 5 a.m. EDT on Sunday, September 3rd.
They got hatch cream chilies for that coverage?
NASA will host a news conference at 1 p.m. EDT Wednesday, September 6th to discuss the agency's upcoming Psyche mission, which will be its first to visit a metal-rich asteroid. Riding along with Psyche is a laser transceiver for NASA's Deep Space Optical Communications DSOC technology demonstration.
You're going to try and land on it and not slide off?
Students from Georgia and Texas will have separate opportunities next week to hear from NASA astronauts aboard the International Space Station. A team led by NASA in Utah's West Desert is in the final stages of preparing for the arrival of the first U.S. asteroid sample, slated to land on Earth in September. In weather.
I'm sure they
Currently,
got words for
in
Idahoans.
Seattle, it's 56 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 66 degrees and a low of 52 degrees.
Cool,
From
cool,
NASA.
cool. Amazon.
After
Off. Amazon, tell us a joke.
What do time travelers' kids say on long road trips? Are we then yet? Are we then yet? Are we then yet?
Wow. Okay, everybody. Well, Father's Day coming up, man. Or not Father's Day, my dad's birthday. Anyways, a replica of Yon there. Yeah, can't really see it. Anyways, have a wonderful Labor Day, everybody. Enjoy.